Welcome back to the Hockey Hotbed, presented as always by the Hockey Podcast Network, as well as DraftKings. Make sure you use promo code THPN when you visit the DraftKings Sportsbook app for great odds and opportunities, especially at sign up. If you're signing up for DraftKings, you got to use code THPN. It's the best thing you could do. Get out ahead of it early. Get some extra odds, get some extra opportunities, and get some cash at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Welcome back, like I said, to the Hockey Hotbed. We've had a fun episode. Started off kind of on a down note, but that's what news is. Especially, NHL season. We're talking about suspensions, COVID protocols, and we're talking about, obviously thoughts and prayers go out to Mike Bossy, hoping he kicks this cancer's ass. We're all behind him. Also, I didn't even mention the fact that the news about Jimmy Hayes and the realization that this mental health thing is not it is not just a fancy thing to throw out on Bell Let's Talk Day. It's something we need to continue to talk about. TNT had a really nice segment on it. I mean, it's the least you can do, honestly, is talk about it. Make sure people hear you. Continue to talk about it. Don't just talk about it when something like this happens. And if you don't know, Jimmy Hayes, the autopsy came back and his family announced that there was cocaine and fentanyl in his system. And his father announced that Jimmy had a pain pill issue. He had a pill issue. He talked about it a year ago with them. They thought he had kicked it, and you never truly know. So again, just continue talking about the difficulties of mental illness. Talk about it with people. Ask people how they're doing. Ask people, are you thinking of committing suicide? I mean, this was accidental, but mental health, mental illness, it goes further than that. Actually ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask the question. So obviously, on this podcast and on every podcast that I will be on, I'm going to continue to talk about this, and as should most people. I know it's not an easy subject to talk about, but it's a topic that needs to be discussed. And it needs to continuously be discussed. So again, as has been since the news initially came out, thoughts and prayers with the Hayes family. We're going to close out this show with our Hockey Hotbed 3 stars of the week. This is the first time I'm ever doing this. And there's a little bit more of a sample size to choose from because I decided, as with basically fantasy hockey, to lump in that little half week we had last week with the entirety of this week. So a little bit more of a sample size when it comes to the games and when it comes to the statistics. But we're going to do our 3 stars. I might as well start off where I finished off last segment in Detroit. My 3rd star of the week is Tyler Bertuzzi of the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, first and foremost, the guy just looks like a hockey player. Missing teeth, rocking the awesome flow. But then to come out and put out a 4-goal performance against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champions, 4 goals. It's a great performance. Now, unfortunately, Detroit lost the game. But as is going to be the case when you're a team that is still rebuilding and probably going to find themselves in a lottery position this year. But coming out of the gates with a 4-goal performance, it is impressive. It's enough to get 3rd star of the week, or week and a half, from me at the Hockey Hotbed. But his current line, he has 5 goals, 6 points in 3 games. So two points per game to start the year is not bad. I know you had a 4-goal performance, but he also knotted another one, and he has an assist. Now, he might have more points than this when you're listening to this because as of this recording, those are his numbers. But tonight, the Detroit Red Wings will host the Calgary Flames. So he might have a chance to pad those stats before this even comes out and make me look even smarter. Do it, Tyler. Make me look smarter. 3rd star of the week, Tyler Bertuzzi. 2nd star of the week, we're going to go out west. Far out west. Go to old reliable Anze Kopitar. What a week for Anze Kopitar. 8 points in 3 games. We're talking about, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl They're back on their bullshit. 8 points in 3 games for those guys. Yeah, let's talk about Anze Kopitar also. If you listen to anything Drew Doughty has said, you would know that Doughty and Kopitar really want to fight for another chance to compete. They're sick and tired of being bad. They were not bad for very long in their career. This team has been bad the past couple of seasons. And, understandably, you have to rebuild at some point. But these guys, they pushed the issue in LA. We want to bring in guys. We want to bring in a guy like Victor Arvidsson. We want to bring in a guy like Philip Deneau. You have on some unfortunate news to start the season with Quentin Byfield. But then Anze Kopitar comes out and just lights the world on fire. Like I said, 8 points in 3 games, including a 5-point game in the opening matchup against the Vegas Golden Knights. They blew out the Golden Knights at Staples Center, 6-2. I mean, that busted my DraftKings bet for sure that night. But good on them. Good on Anze Kopitar. He has a hat trick and 2 assists to start the season, 5 points in the first game. And since then, he has 3 points in 2 games, so it's not like he's slowing down too much. And of those 8 points, 5 of them are goals. So he is on fire to start the season for the LA Kings. So much so that I have made him my second star of the first week of the NHL season. Do you think that adding a guy like Philip Deneau, who has that pedigree that Kopitar does as well, with the playing in his own zone, great two-way forward, great two-way center, does that unlock Kopitar to be a little bit more offensive? Kind of be a little bit more risky, take a little bit more, try to score some more goals? I mean, so far it's worked. 8 points in 3 games. It has worked so far. We'll have to see if that continues. If it does, then that Philip Deneau move by Rob Blake is just going to, chef's kiss, going to look even better. But so far, so good out in LA with Anze Kopitar. Finishing it off, the number 1 star of the week for the Hockey Hotbed, the Great 8, Alex Ovechkin. Is this guy ever going to slow down? It doesn't seem like it. It really doesn't. 4 goals. Yeah, four more. Add it to the list. 4 goals, 6 points in 3 games played. The Washington Capitals look really good out of the gate. Evgeny Kuznetsov had a really good game earlier this week. That is something very encouraging if you're a Washington Capitals fan. After all of the crap that has happened with Evgeny Kuznetsov, for him to play the way that he did a couple days ago, it's a good sign. It's what you like to see. You also like to see Alex Ovechkin doing Alex Ovechkin things, and that's what he's done so far this year. 4 goals, including 2 goals in the opener against the New York Rangers. And also, we should probably mention that those 2 goals in the opener helped him pass Marcel Dion for 5th all-time in goals in NHL history. We're going to be keeping track of this from now until Ovi's career is done in what? He just signed a 5-year contract. So the next half decade, at least. But he passes Marcel Dion. You can now count on one hand, not even one full hand, one hand, the amount of people that have scored more goals in the NHL than Alex Ovechkin. Next up is Brett Hull. And, at the pace that Ovechkin's going, Brett Hull does not have until Christmas before he's bumped down a slot. 7 goals for Alex Ovechkin to tie Brett Hull for 4th all-time. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought he was going to go all the way up to 3rd all-time this year. Marcel Dion, he only needed 1 to tie, 2 to pass. Brett Hull, now he only needs 7 to tie, 8 to pass. I believe he needs 37 goals to pass Jaromir Jagr for 3rd all-time. That'll just leave Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, it's going to be fun watching him pass all these guys, but it's going to be even more fun if he continues on this pace, what those projections look like if he can continue this pace. I mean, I was going to have him as a Rocket Richard guy. Then I thought it was really hard to go against Austin Matthews. But Alex Ovechkin has come out firing. 4 goals in 3 games. Now, clearly, he's not going to have an 82 goal pace all season, but great balls of fire. He's starting that way. So here is the list. Let me take away that Alex Ovechkin first star prop right there, and there are the 3 stars. The Hockey Hotbed 3 stars of the week for week 1 of the NHL season. Tyler Bertuzzi of the Detroit Red Wings, a 4-goal game against the Tampa Bay Lightning in a losing effort, but still has a really good week. Anze Kopitar, 8 points in 3 games, the number 2 star of the week. And the number 1 star of the week is one of the biggest stars in all of hockey, Alex Ovechkin, surpassing Marcel Dionne for 5th all-time in NHL history in goal scoring. And also, throwing up 2 points per game to start the year. You can't really complain about that either. If you're the Washington Capitals, you got to love the start there. So, and also, the Capitals are 2-1 as of right now. They played the Devils last night prior to this recording. So we'll see what happens there. Alex Ovechkin might be that much closer to Brett Hull than I'm even talking about right now. But you got to love it if you're a Washington Capitals fan. You got to love it if you're a hockey fan. If you don't want to see Alex Ovechkin break the record, it's like you bet on unders when you see 2 of the best teams play. You don't bet on no scoring. That's no fun. Cheer for fun. I'm not gonna be the one to sit here and tell you to cheer for a guy. I grew up a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So if I go back to my childhood, I would vehemently hate the fact that I am rooting for Alex Ovechkin to become the NHL's leading goal scorer in all of NHL history. But I've grown up. I have this podcast. I like the entire NHL. Am I a little biased towards Pittsburgh? I'm always going to be. But yeah, I'm rooting for Alex Ovechkin. And if you're not, that is your decision. But you're going to miss out on a lot of fun. He is my first star of the week. And that is the end of this episode of the Hockey Hotbed. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me here on the Hockey Hotbed. I hope everybody has a really good weekend. It is Friday. You've all made it through the week. Pat yourselves on the back. You got a couple of days here. You got plenty of sports. MLB postseason is in full swing, obviously. Getting to the end of the CS, the championship series. The NFL, the slate is not pretty, but it's an NFL slate. You got to love it. And you have plenty of good NHL games coming up as well. Seattle Kraken, home opener on Saturday night against the Vancouver Canucks. That's going to be a fun watch. Maple Leafs playing the Penguins. There should be a lot of offensive firepower there. And apart from that, I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I don't really know. But definitely the Seattle Kraken home opener. That'll be fun. Check that out. I believe it's on ESPN. I don't know. Either ESPN, ESPN Plus, or TNT. I'm pretty sure it's on ESPN, though. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Hotbed. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that tunes in. If you would, and if you like this podcast a lot, I ask you, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Please download our podcast so I know you're there, and share the podcast. If you like it, why not share it? But that's going to do it for this one. Have a great weekend, hockey fans. I'll see you next week.